My name's Lexi and I'm 22 years old.
My name is Dimitri, 22 years old, and I studied at the University of California, Los Angeles.
My name is Amy Thompson, I'm 23.
So I'm Nana Bellucci. I'm from Washington, D.C., 32.
Okay, my name is Miriella. I am 23 years old.
My name is Nick Grinstead. I'm 23 years old.
I think it's really secure. I think that's the really surprising thing that most people just can't believe is how secure Damascus really is. People look out for you in general, and no one's really bothering you. One of the actual benefits of being sort of in a police state is that, for the most part, there isn't a whole lot of petty crime or even larger crimes.
I mean, Syria is a very, very safe country. Statistically, it's the second safest country in the world behind Singapore. I mean, I never worry about anything. I don't worry about, terrorist attacks. I don't worry about muggings and things like that.
Incredibly safe. And to be honest, it really doesn't matter what time of the day or night.
There's nothing happens, and that is, they know what they're doing here. Things don't happen. There isn't the opportunity for things to happen. There's a lot of security. There's a lot of police. There's not in like not in like an uncomfortable way, but in a way where it's, things just don't happen here.
I feel that Syria is a very safe country. I have never been threatened by anyone, and I have not felt uncomfortable. I feel like it's actually safer than certain cities in the United States.
I actually feel like Damascus is a lot safer than most cities in the U.S. I can walk around here at night, and I really don't have much apprehension or fear of being attacked. Most people around are very friendly, and most people actually leave you alone.
I mean, you're definitely a foreigner. Like you definitely feel that, but it's kind of fun in that you're sort of given this freedom that a lot of natives aren't, and that you can do your own thing. People know you're foreign. You speak English, like they notice that, but it's not a pressure in any sense to sort of submit to anything to do. You have to be respectful. That's very important. It's a different culture. It's not yours. You're a guest in this country, so you definitely have to, acknowledge that. But at the same time, you're very welcome here.
I think I'm seen differently, and so I might be held to different standards because I look differently. I'm immediately identified as a Westerner, as not a Syrian. So because I'm Western, I have slightly different standards for my life. So I can, possibly wear different clothing or walk around with maybe a little bit more freedom.
I know of two girls, actually, one from near Boston and one from England, who both came here without knowing any Arabic, journalism students, and they came here to work for an English language newspaper, and they showed up literally not knowing one word. And both of them are loving their time here. They're having a little trouble trying to find the right tutor and all that kind of stuff. But I think you get a much richer experience if you're learning the language, and it's the reason why a lot of people come out here. But I think there's also an expat community of people who probably use Arabic only rarely, and there's probably lots of people who don't speak Arabic at all.
Syrians generally don't speak a lot of English. Some do, or they know a couple words. Some, there's obviously a small portion who do speak English, but generally people don't. But you can still get by. As long as you know a couple phrases, you can get by with a little bit of Arabic. But in general, it'd be a little bit more difficult if you don't speak Arabic, but you can certainly live here.
In Damascus, almost everyone speaks English. That's the surprising thing, is how when people promote Syria as a good place to learn Arabic, everyone still speaks English. So you can practice your Arabic, but if you don't speak Arabic, it's not a problem. There will always be someone within 5-10 feet of you who speaks English, enough to help you.
Religion is definitely is present in Syria. For them to say they're a secular country is sort of tongue-in-cheek. It's present, but it dictates a lot of life, but not in the negative way that people might think of Islam or It encourages strong family values. It encourages celebrations of festivals that are you see signs for in the street or decorations for in the street, and it really sort of supports a strong community around Islamic values and family values.
I think that the religious situation seems to be fine. I have friends from many different religions. I have Christian friends, I have Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims, Jews, and so on, and they have no problem with me being a Christian.
When you talk to people, they love to tell you how Christians and Muslims get along, and they love to tell you all the ways that they do get along and how we're all friends.
I mean, it's obviously, it's a different country. It's a Muslim country predominantly, but you hear the call to prayer, but it's just part of the society. It's it's not overbearing. People never can force you to convert. I never feel any sort of need to submit to any sort of religion. You can be whatever you want to be here, absolutely. And it's a very, very open society in a lot of ways.
Quite the opposite. The government actually comes from one of the minority religious groups here, and so for that reason, they don't want to talk about religion. In some other countries in this region, there's been a move towards having governments that are more Islamic. Here, absolutely not.
The government is definitely not extremist, but I'm pretty sure there are some religious extremists out there. The president of Syria is an Alawi, and they are proud of the fact that their women don't wear veils, and they are considered to be more liberal. So I would say that the government is more liberal than, say, I don't know, some other religious extremist brand.
I think that the government tries not to be into religion, and the problem is that, not that it's a problem, but I view it as a bit of a problem, is that the populace is so religious that it puts pressure on the government to give national holidays. So whether it was for the last Eid, the government gave 4 days off, and still people complained that there wasn't enough days off.
One of the other things about the tight security is that they keep some tight security on being too religious here. So there are no crazy fundamentalist groups brewing. They try to avoid that.
I mean, there are some challenges. There's a sort of a remnants of the thought that women shouldn't be allowed out, shouldn't be allowed to mingle with men, shouldn't be allowed to do things on their own. But I'm a very independent person, and I've never felt terribly restricted by being here. I've been to Jordan, I've been to Beirut, I've been to Cairo, and I've felt sometimes more harassed or more. I feel like I've received more attention there than I do here. I wear normal clothes, I walk around, and like I said, I get stared at sometimes. But as a woman, I feel perfectly secure here.
I have found that the verbal harassment is little to none. Any other types of, I've never been touched, I've never felt violated, I rarely feel uncomfortable. I feel really safe here.
Well, during the winter, I don't worry about that stuff because you're cold, so clearly you want to cover yourself to be warm. During the summer, I would recommend just wearing at least a tee to cover up to here, and wear pants all the time. But other than that, you should be fine.
I mean, look, I've seen some pretty outrageous things out there, but in general, I like to be respectful. I tend to be a more modest dresser. I would recommend keeping your knees, your shoulders, and your cleavage covered.
You certainly do not have to wear a head covering or a headscarf of any sort. That's out of the question. No one's going to make you do that. But I mean, just dress modestly. Don't show cleavage. Don't show your legs. Just sort of you're Western, so it's going to be obvious that you're not from here. But as long as you're respectful and not trying to show yourself off and trying to attract attention, then you're okay for the most part.
I mean, the clothes I'm wearing right now are what I normally wear. When I came to, a lot of people think, oh, you're going to a Muslim country, I need to buy baggy men's t-shirts and big baggy pants. You stand out even more doing that. I dress, I wouldn't say conservatively, I dress normally in the U.S. I brought those exact same clothes here. No shoulders, really, nothing that's too low cut on the top, nothing that's too high cut on the bottom. But I would wear shorts, like leggings and skirts that go down to my knees are fine. T-shirts are fine.
Well, I think it depends on the woman who's coming. Like I have to say, like this summer I got a lot of attention, but I was willing to put up with it because I was more comfortable wearing tank tops. If you're comfortable like that and you're okay, or you're willing to put up with people staring at you for your own comfort in terms of the heat, do it. That's fine.
I actually think Damascus is a great place. There are so many opportunities. The most easiest opportunity is to teach English because there are so many people who want to learn English. There are other opportunities. For example, you can work with refugees. Damascus has Palestinian and Iraqi refugees. And I am currently volunteering for the United Nations, so that's great training for future jobs.
Just in general, there's a lot of like cultural things. There's, like I said, there's a lot of art here, and there are ways to volunteer with that. My boyfriend and I are volunteering at a sculpture symposium that they're doing right now, and I've also done some translating for a women's rights magazine.
Job prospects, if you speak English, you have a very valuable skill, and there's lots of places and lots of opportunities to teach English, to teach and get pay, or to volunteer. There's a program that works with Iraqi students. They're going to the U.S. where you can help them with English. So a lot of it is English-based, but there are other opportunities as well in businesses. You just have to face sort of the Syrian pay, which is a lot lower than what we're used to.
It's amazing the level of respect you're afforded just being an American and a native English speaker. I showed up here, and within weeks I had a job teaching English at the American Language Center, a really well-respected language school.
You can teach English pretty easily. There's a couple places around town that you can get English jobs fairly easily. I mean, as for furthering your career, just having the experience of living here and experience of living in another culture is certainly invaluable.
I think that there's the prospect. It's not that there isn't a prospect to get a job in English. It's always going to be sort of the amount of money. So initially there might be a little, maybe a little difficulty getting a position, but everyone gets one. If you want a job, you can find a job. So I don't know anyone who wants a job that doesn't have a job.
Well, in the United States, they say that Syria is part of the axis of evil, and I heard many stories. If you go to the border and you're American, then they won't let you in, and so on. And I was worried that the political situation between our two countries would affect my ability to communicate with other Syrians. But when I came to Damascus, they treated me very kindly, and they did not care that our governments were not exactly the best of friends.
The thing is that we have a lot of media coverage of the region and of places like Afghanistan, which actually are not part of the region, that sort of gave a very skewed and unfortunate view of how things really are, and of what Islam is, and of who Arabs are, and of what they want overall. And what you find is the most hospitable people you've ever met. I mean, you just don't. I've traveled a lot. I've been really fortunate to be able to travel to a lot of different places, and you just don't find the type of hospitality that there is here. I mean, you meet somebody for the first time, and you're brought into their home, and you're treated like their family, and maybe they have money, maybe they don't have money, but regardless, they feed you like you're a king or a queen. And they're just kind.
I think there's also a feeling of like you're afraid of what you don't know, and I think that's totally natural. I think I had all kinds of preconceptions, going into traveling to the Middle East. But what I found, because I did also come in with an open mind, is that almost every single one of my preconceptions was wrong. And that if I had to describe the culture here and my time traveling here, the first word I would use is hospitality. And it's absolutely incredible. People who have, are down to their last dollar will give you 50 cents. And, I'm sure you've heard that from other people, who you've talked to, but it's really incredible. And I think, it actually says something that everybody's going to mention that, because that's the single most, important character trait of the people that you meet here.
I would say don't come with existing baggage. Be very open to the experience that you're going to have, because there's going to be some difficult days, and then there are going to be some really great days, and most of it is very positive. So I would try and sort of shed those preconceptions that one gets back in the States.
And besides saying it's really great for students, there's something that I say over and over again to everyone who writes about being in Syria. It's very laid back here compared to some cities. It's a very manageable city. You can walk. There's lots of public transportation. There's less, harassment. There's less staring. I feel less under the spotlight here than I did in Cairo or in Jordan or in Beirut. I'm happy here, I guess, is the biggest thing. This is where I live right now, and I'm happy. I have a really nice life. I have great friends. I have great, study opportunities. I'm learning a lot, and this is my life.
I mean, I think this is I love the Middle East. I'm addicted to it. It's a beautiful place. It's very different. It's a totally different mindset, but it's a wonderful place to be. And I think the Middle East is the single most talked about place in America, but the single least understood. A lot of people talk about it, but they really don't understand what it's about. And so living here just gives you an entirely different perspective on what it is to actually be to be a Muslim, to be a Syrian, to be a woman wearing a hijab. That's a very, very, very useful thing to know. And I think it's a really nice place. It's beautiful.
On the personal level, having been here for 3 months now and plan to stay a year, if not longer, I love it here.
I love living in Damascus. It's a beautiful city with lots of great friends and great times and really good food and a lot of history, and again, the food is really good. I would recommend it to anybody. My family's coming out here. My boyfriend's family is coming out here. As a side note, my mom was petrified of me moving to Egypt, and now she's coming to Syria and possibly even Lebanon. So it just goes to show that once you come out here, you realize that it's not what you think. It's just a million times better.
I have to tell you that I'm really enjoying my time in Damascus, and I think it's full of opportunities, and it's a beautiful city.
I think everyone and anyone would probably like being here. It's out of all, I think I agree now. The summer I heard, everyone said that Syria is the best of all the Middle Eastern countries, or the Arab countries, I should say. And I think I might agree